The View co-host Sunny Hostin's husband, Emmanuel Hostin, has been accused of federal insurance fraud.
Sunny Hostin, her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit.
Sunny Hostin, co-host of The View, has found herself at the center of a bombshell legal and personal scandal involving her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin. The accusations against him are staggering, with a major insurance company, American Transit, accusing him and nearly 200 other individuals of running a vast federal insurance fraud operation. This case, filed under the federal RICO laws, designed for organized crime, alleges that Dr. Hostin was performing unnecessary medical procedures, specifically surgeries that patients didn't need, and then pocketing the insurance money. The allegations have shocked many, especially
for your stuff. Let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality and equality, systemic failures.
Considering Sunny's reputation as an outspoken advocate for justice, equality, and integrity. But the plot thickens. Rumors have emerged suggesting that Sunny may have known more about her husband's alleged actions than she's letting on. Some are even speculating that her legal expertise as a former federal prosecutor might have been used to help cover up the fraud, with whispers of her involvement in creating a complex paper trail and moving funds through shell companies to conceal the operation. The lawsuit accuses Dr. Hostin and others of exploiting New York's no-fault insurance laws, meant to ensure accident victims get their medical bills covered without proving fault. According to the claims, Dr. Hostin and his co-conspirators turned this system into a cash cow, performing unnecessary procedures and submitting fraudulent claims, raking in millions. The consequences are severe.
According to the documents, he knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries.
If found guilty, the damages could be tripled under federal law, which would mean a potential financial collapse that could ruin careers. Adding to the drama, federal investigators reportedly executed a search warrant at the Hostin residence, allegedly finding large sums of hidden cash. While Sunny has denied any involvement, calling the accusations against her husband baseless, the situation raises many questions. Could she have been involved in the alleged scheme, or is she simply a bystander caught up in the mess? The stakes couldn't be higher for both Sunny and her husband. The case has already stirred up public opinion, with some people defending her, arguing that she shouldn't be.
This is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia.
Be judged for something her husband may have done without her knowledge, while others are questioning her integrity, accusing her of hypocrisy. Given her long-standing reputation for calling out corruption, many are wondering how she can continue to hold others accountable while her own household faces such serious allegations. Inside The View, tension has mounted. Sunny's co-hosts have been unusually quiet, and fans are speculating that the network might be weighing whether to keep her on the show. The View thrives on addressing tough issues, but can it afford to continue airing with Sunny in the spotlight of such a messy controversy? The legal battle is just beginning, and with so many parties involved, the case could drag on for years. But it's not just about the lawsuit, it's about power.
Oh, he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange.
Privilege and accountability. If the allegations are true, it would shatter Sunny's public image as a defender of justice and fairness. Sunny has fired back at American Transit, calling the lawsuit a smear campaign and accusing the company of filing frivolous claims to avoid paying out legitimate ones. Her legal team has even threatened to countersue for defamation. However, critics aren't buying it, accusing Sunny of distracting from the real issue at hand, her husband's alleged criminal activities. As the drama unfolds, the question remains, can Sunny weather the storm, or will this scandal mark the end of her career on The View? And what about the reputation of the show itself? Will the network decide that keeping her on the panel is too risky, or will she continue to have a platform to voice her opinions amid all the chaos? This is more than just a legal case. It's a complex narrative about accountability, hypocrisy, and the public's trust in the figures we look up to. With rumors swirling, legal battles brewing, and public opinion divided, one thing is certain. This story is far from over, and it will continue to be watched closely as it unfolds. The core of the allegation, Sunny Hostin, known for being a bold, no-nonsense co-host of The View, is now in the midst of a controversy involving her husband, Dr.
But it's just, I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to...
Emmanuel Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon. The controversy stems from a massive lawsuit filed by an insurance company, American Transit. They are accusing Dr. Hostin and nearly 200 other people of being part of an elaborate fraud scheme. The essence of the fraud is that Dr. Hostin allegedly performed unnecessary surgeries and other medical procedures, then submitted false claims to insurance companies to collect huge payouts, money that he was never entitled to. This isn't just a simple mistake or misunderstanding.
So we know Sunny Hostin and her husband, Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, are preparing for a legal battle to fight accusations that he committed federal insurance fraud.
American Transit claims that the operation was a well-coordinated effort to exploit New York's no-fault insurance laws. These laws are designed to allow accident victims, like taxi, Uber, and Lyft drivers, to get medical care without having to prove who is at fault for an accident. However, the lawsuit accuses Dr. Hostin of inflating or faking medical procedures to scam the system and pocket millions. And here's the kicker. This lawsuit is filed under RICO, Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations, laws, which were originally designed to target organized crime syndicates, like the mafia.
And it's a very serious crime. In fact, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, RICO case in New York's history.
Means the case is incredibly serious. What does Sunny have to do with it? Hostin is a former federal prosecutor, and that's part of what makes this story so wild. She spent years speaking out about issues like corruption, inequality, and accountability. So, seeing her embroiled in such a scandal raises eyebrows. There are whispers and rumors suggesting that Sunny may have had more knowledge of, or even involvement in, her husband's alleged fraud than she's letting on. The speculation is based on her legal background. Some sources have suggested that Sunny could have used her legal expertise to help Dr. Hostin cover his tracks, perhaps by helping him set up complicated financial paper trails or hiding funds through shell companies. While these are just allegations, and there's no concrete evidence tying her directly to any fraudulent activity, the possibility of her being involved has fueled a lot of conversation. The irony and public backlash. What makes this situation even more complicated is the fact that Sunny has built her career on fighting for justice. On The View, she's known for calling out corruption, systemic racism, and the failures of institutions. She's made her platform about holding powerful people accountable, regardless of their status or political affiliation. Her entire career is based on advocating for the little guy, those who are often overlooked or oppressed. But now, with her husband at the center of this massive fraud investigation, people are questioning whether Sunny has been blind to her husband's actions.
On that panel, she is self-appointed, she knows everything. It's great to see her ego take this hit, but I think it will be short-lived.
It's amazing to listen to her talk about,
or worse, if she played a role in helping him. For many, this is seen as a huge contradiction. How can someone who's so vocal about holding others accountable justify being associated with such serious allegations? Some critics have even called her a hypocrite, accusing her of using her platform to attack others while failing to hold her own family to the same standards. The View and Sunny's career. Sunny's role on The View has become more complicated because of this scandal. The show is built on discussing hot-button issues, and Sunny has made a name for herself by offering fiery commentary on everything from politics to race. But with her name now tied to this fraud case, fans and critics alike are wondering how she can continue to sit at that table, calling out others for wrongdoing, while she faces these serious allegations herself. Some fans have noticed a shift in her demeanor on the show. She seems less confident and more defensive. There's been tension with her co-hosts, and people are speculating that
I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He throws the garbage out. Right. He does the heavy stuff.
Network, ABC, might even be considering whether to let her go. The scandal could be bad for the show's reputation, and if The View is seen as supporting someone involved in such a high-profile legal battle, it could damage the brand's credibility. Public reaction and divided opinions. The public response has been polarizing. Some people are defending Sunny, arguing that she shouldn't be held responsible for her husband's.
It does not look well when your name ends up with 200 people in a RICO investigation. This is the biggest investigation since Giuliani shook the tree and a bunch of mobsters fell out, right? This is big stuff. And so, and thank you for bringing that video. It sure is ironic that she's up there. So, but
actions. They say that just because her husband is accused of fraud doesn't mean she was involved or even aware of it. In contrast, others are seizing on the irony of the situation and calling Sunny out for what they see as hypocrisy. After all, she has spent years criticizing others for their moral failings and ethical lapses on social media. Fans are debating whether Sunny should step down from The View. Some believe that if the allegations are true, it's not just her husband who should be held accountable, but also her, especially if she helped him in any way. But there are also many people who argue that it's too early to make a judgment and that everyone, including public figures like Sunny, deserves the benefit of the doubt until the facts come out in court. Legal and financial implications. The legal implications for Sunny are significant. If investigators find any evidence that she helped Dr. Hostin in his alleged fraudulent activities, she could be facing legal consequences of her own. The case against Dr. Hostin could result in massive fines, and since the lawsuit is being brought under RICO laws, the damages could be tripled, meaning the penalties could run into the billions of dollars. That would be a catastrophic financial blow not only to Dr. Hostin's career, but also to the Hostin family as a whole. In addition, the emotional toll of the case is also weighing heavily on...
Totally different perspective on this. I don't really know what happened with this. The facts will come out. What I have a problem with is the core of who this woman is. Unlike you, I don't watch The View, bro. All I do is see clips.
I know you do.
It's like
Twice a day.
Here's all I hear from her. America's violent. America's racist. America's bad. Okay.
Sunny and her family. She's already come out publicly to defend her husband, calling the lawsuit a smear campaign and accusing the insurance company of filing frivolous claims. Her legal team has threatened to countersue for defamation, but it's unclear whether that will sway public opinion or just draw more attention to the case. The bigger picture: this isn't just about a doctor allegedly committing fraud or a TV personality facing public backlash. It's about a broader discussion of accountability, power, and trust. Sunny Hostin has spent years publicly demanding accountability from others, especially from those in power. Now, she is facing the consequences of being in the spotlight herself, and it's forcing people.
Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice.
People to examine how we hold public figures accountable when they fall from grace. If the accusations against Dr. Hostin prove true, it would be a betrayal not just of the legal system, but of the very people who trusted him with their care, patients who were allegedly subjected to unnecessary surgeries for profit. That's the real tragedy here, as it highlights how systemic corruption and exploitation can harm vulnerable people who have no means to fight back. What's next for Sunny and Dr. Hostin? For now, we're in the early stages of what promises to be a long and drawn-out legal battle. With so many people involved, there will likely be years of court filings, motions.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
And investigations before any final decisions are made. But as the drama unfolds, it raises important questions about Sunny's future, both professionally and personally. Can she regain her credibility? Or is this the end of her time on The View? Will she and her husband be able to clear their names? Or will this scandal define their careers for good? It's a high-stakes situation, and all eyes are on Sunny and Dr. Hostin as they try to navigate the legal, personal, and professional fallout of this massive scandal. Only time will tell how it all plays out, but this is a story we'll all be watching closely.
1. The fraud scheme. Who is accused? Emmanuel Hostin, Sunny's husband, a respected orthopedic surgeon, is at the heart of this controversy. What happened? According to a lawsuit filed by American Transit, a major insurance company, Emmanuel and almost 200 other individuals, including healthcare professionals, were allegedly involved in a fraudulent operation. This group is accused of submitting false insurance claims for unnecessary medical surgeries. For example, surgeries that weren't medically needed were allegedly carried out just to generate insurance payouts. Why it matters? The fraud operation allegedly targeted New York's no-fault insurance system, which is intended to cover medical expenses for people who've been in accidents. If the claims are true,
You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm going to go, slave owner!
this would mean that the fraud took advantage of people who genuinely needed medical care and created unnecessary risks for patients. RICO lawsuit. The lawsuit is filed under RICO laws, which are normally used to go after organized crime groups. This elevates the case from being a simple insurance scam to something much bigger and more serious. If the lawsuit is successful, those involved could face criminal penalties, including prison time. 3. Sunnis role. The speculations. Sunny Hostin, due to her legal background as a former federal prosecutor, is now under suspicion. Some are asking if she had any part in her husband's actions. Her legal knowledge may have given her the tools to potentially help cover up the fraud, or at the very least, assist in the planning of it. What's at stake for her? Though there's no direct evidence that Sunny was involved in the fraud, the public's focus is on whether she knew about it or turned a blind eye. This could damage her credibility, especially since she's a public figure known for advocating for justice and holding people accountable. On The View, public reaction and hypocrisy allegations. Sunnis credibility. Sunny has often used her platform to call out corruption and unfair practices, especially in legal and political spaces. If she's seen as a hypocrite, someone who calls out others but doesn't hold her own family to the same standards, it could affect how the public views her. Many are now questioning her moral authority, especially on The View. The blowback. This scandal is being widely discussed on social media, with critics accusing Sunny of hypocrisy and demanding that she step down from her role on The View. Others, however, defend her, claiming that she's being unfairly targeted just because of her husband's actions. 5. Legal consequences. If Emmanuel Hostin is convicted of insurance fraud, he could face serious penalties, including criminal charges and fines.
Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny. She is so wrapped up in identity, and she had no idea who she was.
If Sunny is found to be complicit in any way, she could face professional fallout as well. Her legal career could be affected if it's proven she had some role in the scheme. Sunnis team has denied any involvement in the fraud, and they've even suggested that the lawsuit may be a form of defamation, accusing American Transit of making false claims in order to avoid paying legitimate medical bills. In response, they're reportedly threatening a countersuit for $5